What's up guys, in this video we're gonna take a look at how to counter Jayce. So let's start off by looking at his strength and weakness. So Jayce has some really great harass. He can switch from melee to ranged form, gaining a bunch of new abilities. So he has many ways of dealing damage, and especially the ranged form is good for him early level. Since a lot of top laners are melee and not ranged, he can really take advantage of his ranged form to just poke the enemy down, taking their health down bit by bit. Now let's take a look at his Q Shock Blast if you shoot it through an acceleration gate, because not only can it be used to harass you from a very long distance or pick up kills that seemed almost impossible, it is very hard to zone Jayce out and deny him minions just because it has such a long range. It has great AoE damage, so he can harass you and farm minions from a very safe distance. Because he has so many abilities, he can really pull off some scary combos. For an example, he can set down his acceleration gate, shoot his Q through it, and then activate W in ranged form. Then while running through the acceleration gate, switch to hammer form, Q to jump the enemy, few basic attacks because you still have the W from the ranged form activated, so that's pretty nice. Then E them away, and then you can switch back into ranged form, and then his Q might be ready once again for the second time that fight. Really some great harassing to do if you know how to master his combo. One of his weaknesses is his lack of sustain that I'm going to talk a little bit more about when we get to what to look for when you're going to pick a champion. Jayce is harder to play than other champions, and it can take a lot of time to really master Jayce and know what ability to use when, and even experienced Jayce players can make a very fatal mistake that can cost them death. Now don't get me wrong, Jayce's ultimate is really amazing, gives you new abilities, range form and all that, but if you compare it with other champions, when they hit level 6, they can get like an ultimate that is completely game changing, or it's gonna completely change a fight. But with Jayce, when he hits level 6, it's more like just raising a few things here and there if you level up his ultimate. So when other champions hit level 6, they get much scarier, but you can't really say the same thing about Jayce. When you're going to pick a champion against Jayce, there's a couple of things you can look at. Since Jayce has no sustain, it will be smart to pick a champion that has high sustain, so whenever he tries to poke you, harass you, can just heal back up. And if he goes back because he has no mana, you can just push his lane, outfarm him, whatever. So picking a champion with sustain could be a pretty good idea against him. And because he has no sustain, he's more vulnerable to being harassed or poked, so champions like Yorick, who just spam abilities all day, can work really well against Jayce. That is probably the two most important things you're looking at when picking a champion against Jayce. One last thing I added is mobility, and one champion that really has all of these three things is Nidalee, which I really like against him. So when you're picking a champion, look for sustain and some kind of harassment or poke. Yorick is a pretty popular pick against Jayce because he has high sustain, he can spam his abilities all day long, and he can get pretty tanky with just a few items. If you're playing Yorick, be sure to take the wolves at level 1, doing so will give you half a level, and you don't even have to pop a health potion because your E is just going to heal you back up. If your jungler was going to start blue, it is super easy for them just to take Raves, red buff without smite, and then go straight to blue buff and smite that, and wolves should be back up then, or they can go gank. That shouldn't really set your jungler back that you are taking wolves, and like I said, you got half a level. That is pretty good in lane. You will get level 2 pretty fast. That means an extra ability. And when you're level 2 and the enemy is only level 1, you can really do some good damage to them. When you're playing Yorick, just be sure to pop your W and E as much as you possibly can. Once the enemy gets too low, just be sure to go in for the kill, use your ignite, whatever, spam all your abilities. And in the beginning, you probably will both run out of mana, but as Yorick, you'll probably buy something like a mana immune to cover your mana problems. Once you actually have that, you have a lot of mana, you can just keep on spamming. If Jayce jumps you and then knocks you away, you should still be in range of popping your W, and then he will be slowed. You can get even closer, then pop your E. If you didn't win that trade, then you can just use your E add minions until you get your health up. As I said, if you buy Mana Moon, you have more mana than him. If he keeps on harassing you like that, popping his Q, then knocking you back again and again, and using his acceleration gate and shooting his Q through it, he will run out of mana pretty fast. So be sure to cover your mana problems, and then you can just start building like tanky damage. AD Nidalee has some really great poke from her basic attacks, and of course if you're going to play her, max your E, not only for the heal, but most importantly the attack speed increase. If he tries to 1v1 you, the attack speed increase is gonna make a hell of a difference. Before level 6, just try to poke him as much as you possibly can without losing minions. If he tries to jump you, heal up, get that attack speed increase. When he sees he's actually taking a lot of damage, he will probably knock you away, run away. Remember, your passive can be used in some situations. If not, you will probably have to wait until you're level 6 when you have your Cougar form. Then you can really use your W just to catch up with him. Nidalee's E is not to be underestimated. It is a very good amount of health you get back and a really good amount of attack speed you gain. Be sure to use your E when you've actually taken some damage, so you're not only gaining the attack speed buff. So you can start with your Cougar form, use all of your abilities. When you actually start taking damage from Jayce, switch into your range form, heal up, and then you have a lot of attack speed. When he starts running away, use the bushes if they're close, or just switch to Cougar form, use your W as much as you can, and just start chasing him down. Another good thing about Nidalee's E is how fast you can take down enemy turrets. If Jayce is going mid, ganking mid, or taking dragon with his team, you can really punish him by taking the turret down fast, pushing his lane. Or if he's just dead and you want to start roaming because you're doing good, and you want to help out the other lanes, you can just take his turret down in like no time at all. High mobility can be very useful. As you see right here, this is pretty lucky that I actually avoid his Q by jumping over it, but if you know he's going to shoot a Q for an acceleration gate or going to knock you away, you can jump to avoid the Q or jump at the right time to get knocked in the other direction. If you're going to play Lee Sin, be sure to max your W first. That will give you insane sustain in lane, and if you do that, be sure to buy a Wriggle's Lantern. Combining that with your W is really going to give you amazing sustain. Look at this, going from almost no HP to full HP in just a little over a wave. That is very good. There's many different ways you can play against Jayce when you're playing Lee Sin. It all depends on what exactly happens. If he jumps you, be sure to activate your shield to absorb as much damage as possible. If he knocks you away, you can Q after him, use your slow. He probably used all of his abilities by then, and you can just go after him. If he wins the trade, you probably want to go back a little bit, use your W, get the lifesteal, and just heal back up. Jayce will probably win at the early levels just because he is ranged, and the lifesteal you get from the W at early levels won't really outweigh the damage he can do if he hits with Q and some basic attacks. So you gotta either get a gank early to shut him down, or just try to farm as safely as you possibly can, using your Q to last hit, staying in the bushes, using your W to get back to your own minions if he's trying to engage on you. Once you actually get to level around 5, you actually have some pretty good sustain from your W. The good thing about Lee Sin is that he doesn't use mana, so as soon as you get a Wriggle's Lantern and max your W, he is gonna harass you as much as he possibly can, but then suddenly he runs out of mana. What is he gonna do then? Go back, you can push the lane, you have like insane sustain from that Wriggle and that W, so it's gonna be hard for him to take you down, but if he starts out damaging your sustain, then you should probably build a little bit more tankier. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you learned something from it, be sure to hit the like button below. It helps me out a lot and I really appreciate you guys' support. If you really enjoyed the video and thought it was well put together, had good information, a favorite would be amazing. It would be really amazing. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link will be in the description down below. There you can see when I'm live streaming, uploading a new video, and other good stuff. So be sure to follow me on Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, chances are that you will like my other videos. So be sure to subscribe if you want to check out more League of Legends videos. If you have any suggestion as to what champion we are going to counter next, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.